Today we are going to be working on the C6 Z06 that we are working and building with the Hoonigans. We are going to be installing the ACT clutch, a few other parts. Don't forget, we are also giving this car away, so go to throtl.com. Every dollar you spend, you get one entry into winning this car.
So the boys from Hoonigan sent back C6 Z06 to us with the lovely job of putting in the clutch, which means dropping the torque tube and the whole rear end essentially from this car. If anybody can do it, we can. So we reached out to our friends at Advanced Clutch Technology and picked up this awesome,
very light,
very heavy,
very lightweight
sprung clutch that holds 745 foot-pounds of torque, which this car is making probably within 100 of that.
It probably makes about 744, so we're good.
I don't think it makes that much.
And I think they painted these yellow just because of our Corvette.
To match the car?
Yeah, that's it.
One of the things I like about ACT clutches is they make it an experience when you get their clutch. So
I know.
Comes with this
it's like Christmas
sleeve.
morning every time.
Black on black logo on the side. It's really nice. But man, this is probably the heaviest clutch I've ever felt. So it must be pretty heavy in depth. Woo!
That's sick.
That's a big boy. So this is sprung. That means it's gonna have good driving characteristics on the street, hopefully.
Can't forget the stickers, bro.
Oh, the stickers.
That's the flywheel.
And our flywheel. Last but not least, look how lightened this thing is. Look at all the pockets in it. It's really nice. That is our clutch assembly. Pressure plate, disc, flywheel. We got our clutch alignment tool here. This is actually gonna get put on the shelf for a few hours because we've got a lot of work ahead of us. This is a big job, probably one of the bigger jobs that you need to do on these cars. But what we don't want to do is hand off a sweepstakes car with an old, dirty, nasty clutch.
Yeah.
So ACT is going to be a big improvement. It's going to allow you to put the power to the ground that the new Edelbrock Supercharger is making without any hassles, and you can drive it like you stole it when you get it. So we're going to go ahead and get cracking. Let's do it. Well, Ricky and I are working on getting basically access to the clutch assembly itself, which is way up here. This is the first Corvette that any of us in this shop have ever worked on. So the torque tube assembly that these things are equipped with poses quite a challenge. It's not your typical remove the exhaust, remove the drive shaft, remove the transmission, get to your clutch. We actually have to remove basically everything from here all the way back to get the torque tube assembly out of the way to get access to the clutch. Not the most fun thing to do, especially when it's your first time. We're learning as we go here, so this is gonna take us a little bit of time, which is fine. I think all of us are interested and up to the challenge. The next step is I've already removed the suspension arms and coilovers from the chassis. I've disconnected the brakes and they're just hanging on the chassis right now. We're gonna basically kind of have to unplug a bunch of sensors, and we're gonna have to strap this unit to remove the subframes. Those are gonna kind of be the next steps, unplugging things and getting everything secured so we can drop this subframe right out of the car.
If you're a car enthusiast and really care about your car and want to make sure you have the best coverage for your car, check out today's video sponsor, PAC. PAC's team is here to find the right insurance company for you. It's having a broker without having to go into an office. If you're a low mile driver, you could save from 30 up to 40%. That's money in the bank, more car parts for the whip. A great example of this is my FD RX-7. It's a project car that I tinker with all the time, but I don't really get it out of the garage too often. I probably drive it once a month or something like that. And there are quite a few cars here at the Throttle Garage like this Mark IV Supra that are not daily drivers, that don't get a lot of miles on them, and that is where PACT is perfect. You can cancel with your big insurance company anytime with no fees. PACT will even help you get a check for any premiums you've already paid. Check out the link below to get a free quote and see if PACT is right for you. Using PACT supports the Throttle YouTube channel so we can keep making cool content for you guys. Now let's get back into today's video.
Ricky and I have basically the cooler lines removed, the torque tube moved back about what, 2 inches, Ricky? Looks like. So we can get to the two 10mm bolts that are on the throwout bearing. Essentially what Ricky did was he went into our bolt bin and found a couple really longer, much longer bolts and put those in on one at 3 o'clock and one at 9 o'clock. That's a good spot for it. We'll just leave it there. We're able to move the torque tube back and actually keep it safe for us up here and not rip this throwout bearing out or anything or have this thing fall on us. So good idea, Mr. Ricky. Except it's the bolt is in the way for me to get this bolt out. Yep. Starting to remember why I work on Japanese cars. There's nothing this ridiculous on any Japanese car I've ever worked on. All right, so we're about 3.5, 4 hours into the Corvette clutch install. We've got the torque tube assembly and rear differential out, as well as the subframe out of the car. As you can see, it's pretty bare bones now. Daunting task when you look at it. Really not too terrible, I guess.
And I don't even know what that is. But I'm beginning to take the bolts out of the transfer case. You can say that?
Bell housing.
The bell, oh yeah, this is the bell housing, because behind this is the actual clutch that we're gonna be replacing. So it is time for me to probably call Will over because I can't get my hands up there. And Will's got very small hands. He can probably get those bolts better than I can.
Nimble.
If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the throtl YouTube channel and turn on the bell notification so you don't miss a thing. We have one bolt that is literally kicking our butts.
We got all kinds of witch fingers trying to get in there to get it. As soon as I get on the head of the bolt though, this thing is just like, detour.
Oh dude, there's no way you can get it from the top.
Oh come on, I thought I saw daylight up there.
We got the stock clutch off. There's a lot of heat spotting on the flywheel and the pressure plate, and it was kind of dusting as we were taking everything off. So excited to get this ACT stuff on. We're gonna start with the flywheel. This is gonna be a much improved kit over the stock kit, and it's gonna allow us to run the supercharger kit more efficiently and hold down that power. So let's get started.
Over here just cleaning some parts. This thing is looking pretty disgusting. Oh yeah, she nasty.
What's going
We're moving it, baby. We're going back in. Look at
back
this.
in.
Look at this.
Right. Make moves.
You're right there, Ricky. This guy says he works out.
All right, so Yossi over at SD Vinyl and Shine here in San Diego came through with our collab decals for the Vet. He also whipped us up this cool little custom license plate frame for the car, just commemorating the Hoonigan / throtl cross up on this car. So we're gonna go ahead and toss these on. We're not doing a livery like we did on the Subaru. This is more of a low key deal. We're gonna have one little decal on the rear bumper, these on the on the front fenders, and we're gonna have a windshield banner. So I'm gonna go ahead and toss all that stuff on now while these guys are doing the torque tube.
We are bleeding the clutch. One of the things we installed is this little cheater bleed line. So instead of using the factory bleed screw, which is in a really bad spot to get to, we've actually replaced it with a braided steel line here. This is by Monster Clutch Company. So this is a clutch kit, and it actually brings our bleed screw right up here. So I can watch the reservoir, fill it up, and bleed it all at the same time, which is really nice. So of course we're gonna be using some Motul RBF 660, our favorite. And we got legs Ricky inside the car. Give it.
Oh, faithful.
Chill out.
Wait, was that from the reservoir?
Yeah.
Nice.
So long story short, with the new MagnaFlow exhaust, the O2 sensors were too close. These connectors got too close to the hot part of the exhaust. So yeah, that turns metal purple. It does even worse to plastic. So I'm just having to do a quick 6-inch addition so that we can pull these connectors up further away from the pipes so they don't melt again.
So here's the one that I took out. As you can see, it's all roasted marshmallow status. So I cut as close as I can to this without depinning it, just because it's gonna take forever to do that. Installed new Deutsch 4 pins. Kept the order the same, so this is just gonna translate to a longer piece. So now look how long that hangs down.
That's what she said.
That'll allow us to pull it and tuck it wherever we need to. That's gonna keep it cooler, because obviously this got way too hot, way too close to some hot stuff. Now just gotta do that same thing on the other side.
Yeah, my boy Will didn't spend 3 weeks doing this wiring for no reason.
3 weeks.
Oh, sick.
What is this connector?
Here, look at this one.
What?
Thanks, Will.
Are you sure that's the right one?
Oh no, that's not the right one.
Oh, you're dumb.
Yeah, I am. Oh yeah, it's right here. See, Will's not dumb.
Good connection.
Will did it right. All right, here we go. Bam. right, Anthony just came back from picking up the wheels and tires, and check these out. Some Forged Auto Racing American Racing.
Whoa, what is this?
So wow. American Racing wheels. They're sick, huh? Two-piece
weld?
Yeah.
Look at that.
Super sick.
That's clean. Condensation drains in there too in the pockets. Yo, Quinn, Will, check out the new wheels.
Don't worry about that.
Check out the new wheels.
Ooh. Oh, man.
And we got the
nice color.
660s on there.
I wonder how that's going to look on yellow.
I saw a lot of comments on the Hoonigan video that people didn't like the black because it was too predictable. Sometimes it looks mean, but
don't you have black wheels in your car?
I don't have black wheels on anything I own. Going for a quick little test drive to make sure everything is working correctly. We just replaced the clutch. Feels good so far. Oh yeah,
that was you, not me.
Yeah, Quinn. I'll give you that one. The front of this thing hangs out really low. It's got like this little like dust shield on the bottom, but the clutch feels way springier than it did before, which is good. Ricky managed to smoke the traction control button, so we don't have the center console back in yet. But everything feels good. I don't hear any crazy whines. This thing does need an alignment though. Other than that, it feels really good.
Do you feel any difference in the clutch?
It feels springier. It's a little bit more responsive than it was before, but we haven't really started nailing it. So we do have to break in the clutch on this, so we're gonna drive it for a little while before we can start making pulls on it. But other than that, it feels good. Everything seems like it's working correctly. The supercharger. It's cool. Nah? Yeah, dude. Not about it, Vic?
Dude, I was scared there for a little bit.
After the Viper, after you get to ride the Viper, you're scared of this thing?
That's true.
You handle the Viper like a G, dude.
All right, well, we just picked up the hood from the paint shop up the street. They color matched it for us. This was our Anderson Composites carbon hood. The boys over at the Hoonigans didn't like it in carbon, so they requested us to spray it, so we obliged. It's definitely a lot more American muscle with it painted. And you may notice that there is just a little bit of shade difference between the quarter panel and the hood, and that is because this was literally just painted a day ago or less. The thing hasn't even cured yet, and we're pretty certain that once it sits out in the sun for a few hours, it's gonna come right back. All right, well, that's gonna be a wrap on today's video. We got the clutch installed. That was a first for us here in the throttle shop, doing a torque tube disassembly and reassembly with the clutch job. It worked out really good. The ACT clutch is gonna be perfect for this car. And we did add the Monster Motorsports clutch bleeder, which is gonna make it a lot easier to bleed this clutch in the future as it moves the line up into the engine bay instead of underneath the car. We also added our brand new American Racing two-piece forged wheels and our Falcon RT 660 tires. This thing is an absolute ripper, and that means it's time to go supercar hunting. So you guys are gonna have to keep an eye on the Hoonigans channel because we're going to be racing this thing on this versus that against a supercar or two. That said, I want to remind you guys that this is actually our sweepstakes car. So this is a car that you could actually own, and it could be in your garage at some point in the very near future. In order to do so, head on over to throtl.com. Every dollar you spend on car parts for your personal vehicles or someone else's, or merchandise from either Throtl or Hoonigan, is an entry to win this bad boy and to take it home to your own garage. Good luck to you. Get those entries in. Leave us some comments down below. Hit that subscribe button. We'll see you in the next one.